Welcoming you back to crypto's juiciest news, baby dolls. You're about to get mogged if you're not long crypto. Which is kind of funny, friends, because we've been saying that for the past 4 years. And we got mogged every single time. But no, this time, I'm serial. The Bitcoin price, 103,000 American dollars. Seen it right here. Big, fat, juicy green candle. Charging up right to the top. Resistances everywhere. What are they going to do? I'll tell you what they're going to do. I've seen this many times, and I've been on the wrong side a lot of the times. You see, Bitcoin, friends, finished. Forget it. Okay? There are spooky things repeating from 2017. Now, this is why you like and subscribe to me, share with your friends and family, highest value content in crypto. The Bitcoin Cash War, its spirit, where Bitcoin split with the community about the block sizes, it is now reappearing with the Bitcoin Core War, about whether they put altcoin information on Bitcoin on the chain right now. Okay, so that is pretty much going to reflect itself as uncertainty in the Bitcoin dominance, which means Bitcoin dominance goes down, which means altcoins go to the freaking moon. Ethereum has started pumping over this weekend, friends. It is actually here. This is actually a nice, check out that monthly candle, bro. That's a cracker. And I really do want all of us to respect it. Put your hands up in the air. Put your hands up in the air. Now, Mr. Bread Toast messaged me. He goes, Summy, now that Ethereum is pumping, Mr. Bread Toast, he said to me, are you going to remove and upgrade Ethereum from your juicy news? Because on this channel, friends, we give it a Tulip Emoji. So first I gave it a coffin for a very long time. And I thought, man, it's like beyond dead now. The coffin, friends, the coffin, literally the worms ate the coffin. That's how dead it was. And it's now just a part of the soil. And now a little tulip has come up just to remind us of the tulip mania where everything went to zero. Because they could literally grow these things out of the ground. Right? So will I be upgrading Ethereum from a tulip emoji? No! No, Mr. Bread Toast. And by the way, speaking of bread toast, I do love and appreciate you with some butter and honey in the morning. Also some Vegemite. I know a lot of you say it tastes like ass, but I had it when I was younger and I really like it. And yes, I like the crust. I leave the crust. Maybe I'll eat it at the end sometimes, friends. Sometimes, friends, I'm feeling like a fat shit. So there you go, Mr. Bread Toast. You are yummy and I appreciate you. But we don't do USD ratios here on this channel, okay? We look at the real price, yeah? Like, oh no, my Big Mac now costs $100. Yeah, but your salary is $1.4 billion per year. You see? So it doesn't really matter about that Big Mac costing a lot. Okay, that's a ratio, isn't it? This is the Ethereum BTC ratio. My gosh, you are, friends. When I see this, I just want to choke something, but I'll just have to respect my nice fluffy microphone. I'll never do anything violent to you. Don't tempt me. It's been a long bear market, bro. 4 years. And by the way, it's still on. It's literally still on, as far as I'm concerned. With this is what we're celebrating, okay? But we'll take it. We'll take it. We know we know what it is, okay? We know within the realm of expectations, friends. Maybe it rounds off here, but I feel like it just went so ridiculously low. We do this like up only, revert back, and then like, oh, cool, it's back, and then we do the double bottom. I hope it doesn't do that. I hope it just goes. What you and I want is like, hey, bro, can we like not do the whole double bottom? Just go, wee. Yeah, let's chill out. Okay, remember that Ethereum BTC ratio, it's 0.024. It's still shockingly low. My gosh, bro. Oh my gosh. So you got to flip green and then we still have to like, bro, it's going to take a while. Oh my gosh, dude. Yeah. All right. We'll see. We got a long way to go. This is nothing. But as far as USD price is concerned, it's pretty good, right? Because Ethereum at 2,500 American dollars is actually doing fantastic compared to zero. Friends, do you want to see what Ethereum looked like at the top of last bull market? Look at that cracker chart. That was literally the top. You had no signals telling you it's over, nothing. Look at it, just, friends, do you understand how much of a scam this is? Like, oh no, here's a higher low. And now we just broke the high. Literally, look what freaking happens next. Look what happens next. It's over. It's over. See us. My gosh, we still haven't come back. Look at that weekly chart as well, by the way. Check that out. Was this even humanly possible? Ethereum, 40% on the week. But you're like, okay, what did you do, bro? You did 20% down, 30% down. You just said down, 20% down. What was this one? 25, 6% down. Yes, you go down forever. How big was this week? 25% down. Yes, so we just had one of these. We're like 5 destructions. We're on our way back up. This would be nice to see. So everybody is talking about Ethereum. Are they getting ahead of themselves? We'll see. I don't think so because I know everybody's short, just to let you know, friends. So, you know, Bitcoin's price right now, remember as we covered in our Juicy News, so this is the Bitcoin price chart. And we're looking at it right here. So the Bitcoin price chart is nicely shooting up through this fib. So that's what your very, very, very common, friends, retracements. Like everything comes back to that 618 fib around the zone, and then the market has to battle it. And what we did was, surprisingly, we just shot through up. Why? Well, it's just a bull market. That's just, in a bull market, you do stuff like that. Where like no one expects it, you're waiting and waiting and waiting, and then just go, boop. You know, that's why, friends, if you're sitting on the sidelines and you're like waiting for good news, well, what good news was this? There was no good news. Things just started popping up. Like Ethereum's back to 2,500. Where's the good news of Ethereum? What people do is we reverse engineer stuff. We go, oh, no. Vitalik said he's going to do the layer 1 gas limit stuff. Yeah, but they've been saying shit like that for a long time. You know? So pretty much there's no edge when it comes to that, friends. Like in a bull market, your number one job is just don't fall off the bull. That's it. And it's a believer cycle. So if you're waiting for good news to appear to buy, you're going to get wrecked. Because on average, you're buying high. Now, you're still early enough in the bull cycle, but if you have that mentality, you're eventually going to get wrecked. Because if you, like, friends, not a single part of my body thinks, man, I got to get really long on this giant good news. Never. Never, never, never. Or when we do, like, it's short term. It's always short term, okay? But actually, everyone does short term. So, you know, leaves you back to square one. Bitcoin, as we move around this zone, we still expect, friends, there might even be like a stab around here. And then we do the whole sideways for a bit before we're ready to go and actually start what many consider the final phase. They think this is pretty much it. And then, like, if I've seen all the charts, everyone's like, okay, and then it's literally over. All right, or over. So I don't know about that being over part, personally. I know a lot of people have theories about, you know, the S&P 500 and the Mag 7, the Maggot 7, S&P 500, all that stuff out here. I know, bro, look, but I know the government too. You know what I mean? They're printing money. That's it, okay? They're printing money. Major loser Jerome Powell has kept rates high. That's a load of fugazi. Okay, they're printing money in the background. The liquidity is rising. That's all I care about. That's what's happening. And by the way, okay, they haven't even gotten to the point where the whole world is aware of the money printing and they're like basically exploiting it by buying like dog coins and stuff. That's what happened in 2021. So they haven't even like, there's a funny part. They've already done the money printing. They haven't even told the world they're printing money because they don't want to spark more inflation. So we haven't even gotten to that part. We have to go through that phase. Then when we're finally through that phase, the inflation gets too hot a bit because people get too confident because they're misallocating capital. Then Jerome Powell has to come out with the words and be like, you know what? The economy is actually pretty fine. We're not as bad as we thought. We might have to taper down a bit of that liquidity. That's actually what happened in 2021, just to let you know. Because this is going to be interesting, friends. Because my friend Carlin Talks Crypto, he actually showed his chart where actually global liquidity, right? So remember, friends, I've shown you this. Global liquidity, friends, literally was still rising this whole freaking time. It only started going down like here, midway 2022. But literally, bro, it was over. You're down 85% of your altcoins. Global liquidity. But why did that happen? It's because the US Fed, friends, they don't say, we're stopping global liquidity tomorrow. They don't do that. In their commentary, this is what they actually did here. In there, one of the Fed meetings in November and December, I think it was right. I think it was December. See this big SPAC down? What actually happened here was the US Fed said, we're going to have to start raising rates. We're going to have to, like, you know, do a bit of stop the quantitative bond purchases and start raising rates. Remember, rates was zero here. So the thing is, they announced it here, but crypto prices it in first, and they still do the fugazi money printing stuff. Okay, so that's why you can't just rely on that chart. You have to take them for their word at it, which is like tough as well. But yeah, the US Fed does these big signals where they're like, oh, we're going to actually have to stop liquidity and stuff out here. But then you might say, oh, Sammy, I don't believe him. But yeah, but here's the thing. Even if they're going to turn it back on, you got to think about this. they would only turn it back on because the markets collapsed so hard, which means if you were taking profit, right, and you just sat on the sidelines with some portfolio, right, in the midst of that amazingly huge capitulation, which is bear market stuff, you could buy back in, right? So the US Fed's not just going to start activating money printing unless the stock market sends them the signal that's game over. Now, the biggest news of the weekend, pretty much, friends, was Donald Trump said, after a long night of talks mediated with the USA, I am pleased to announce that India and Pakistan have agreed to a full and immediate ceasefire. Congratulations to both countries on using common sense. So that's why I'm saying, friends, brace for impact. They might come back and start selling this rally. So India, Pakistan, World War III averted. Thank you very much. I told you to believe the cycle, dude. But this is the one you're like, yeah, you never really trusted that one. But you know what I mean? Just like I told you, just random stuff. They just start, you know, they stop fighting, just start doing stuff and hugging each other. Also, my friend, Mr. South Yorkshire Onion Growers Guild. Not to worry, the ceasefire broken. Yeah, and then they'll believe again. It'll be the same story all over again. I want to show this to you as well, friends. Talk about your friend Swami and his friendship and kindness, right? Exclusive. Facebook is in talks to deploy stablecoins 3 years after giving up on the landmark crypto project. So you remember, friends, I think there was a coin called Libra, not the Argentinian meme coin Libra, but that's what their first one. Was it called Libra? And Carpe Diem or something? So Facebook tried to make a stablecoin back in 2019? I remember that. That was part of the crypto adoption stuff. And we had the backed exchange and everything dumped. I remember like Crypto Face made like $1 million on that short when Bitcoin went from like 9K down to like 7. On that, Mark Zuckerberg tried to make a stablecoin. Yeah. He's like, oh, I want to get into crypto. Want to make a crypto stablecoin. But every world government was like, okay, see this? Walk right back through the door you came in and don't ever talk about this conversation again. So it was amazing during this time. Let's actually take you back. This is what happens. It's kind of like history. They're coming back in, man. So it was back here. I remember the exact chart. This is where Crypto Face, Cookie Face, he shorted Bitcoin down. He went back down. And then this big green candle was President Xi saying, hey, we like crypto. And then it was a scam. And then this was zombie virus. So this is the back dump and stuff out here. So PayPal and all these institutions, friends, they're seeing how much money Tether's making. And they're like, oh, we just got to give them a stable coin. That's what they're saying. Oh, how stupid are crypto people? You don't even want any yield? Right. That's why. They're like, what? We get to make 6% per year for free? The stock market does that. You know, you have to give us just infinite money. That's what they're thinking in their minds. That's why this thing will get priced down. Also, they're all blacklist function trash. But when you're seeing stuff like this stablecoin supercycle, these themes come back. It's kind of funny, man. So they can't go after Bitcoin. They can't go after Ethereum. Got a lot of chains. What are they going after? Tether. They're going after the stable coins. The big amount of stable coins. Here's my friend, Mr. Indican. When Zuck starts deploying stables, you know the tide's turning. The big boys are coming, mates. But the real question is, will you be a product or a participant? Well, sir, if you are holding PDI through Caddy's dumping, you're actually a victim. It's true, though. It's true. It feels like victim. And speaking of that, did a big 75% pump to the heavens, which is great. This is PDI doing that, the classic Bart Simpson pattern, huh? Beep, 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 beep. It's got a long way to recover as well. It's actually nice. Actually quite fantastic to see. Let's have a look at all the PulseChain prices. This is what they're doing up here. 4, 5, 7%, 23% for PDI. I remember it was up as high as 75% for the day. This is just a 24-hour reading. So it's wonderful to see things are starting to move. It's kind of funny, dude. Oh man, I'd always scroll through Twitter. There's always like this one person in someone else's thread. They're not talking about me. I've got nothing to do with it. And I'll see someone trying to take a stab at me, a very non-family friendly stab. And they'll be saying like, some stupid KOLs of PulseChain think PulseChain has to go up only when Ethereum goes up. So I know that person hasn't watched literally a single video of mine. And I'm like, friends, I literally heard this every single freaking day. We do nothing. What happens? Ethereum starts going up, we start going up. Oh man, they just don't get it. And they never will. But you know what? Someone's going to have to leverage and buy the top for us, don't they? Speaking of the PulseChain price chart, this is a very nice weekly. Hopefully more things to come. We're still 64% below SAC price. So we've got a long way to go. Remember, this is the PLS USD chart. So the real chart's the Pulse ETH ratio, which is more important. But yeah, we've got a long way to go. Here's PulseX, sleeping dark horse is the PulseX to Pulse ratio. It's got plenty more juicy things coming. Here it is right here. It's pretty much trading, you know, trading a similar price to PLS. We might actually see it trade 2 to 1 because it's purely deflationary. The protocol's buying and burning. Okay, so like as you get more adoption, it's going to crank with all that buy and burn swapping activity. Now, as we mentioned here, friends, Ethereum is the star today. Ethereum reclaims 2,500 as Ben Copen reiterates that Ethereum is still going home to $500, Ethereum. You're all going home. You all owe money to the blockchain, Ethereum. All of you will go home. It's kind of funny, actually, to see someone who's making... This is the funniest part. This is the funny part. He's making, friends, $9 million a year off his subscribers. And he's still calling Ethereum a shitcoin. And he has 2% allocation to it. And he says it's too much. That's the funniest part. That's wild. And I feel like he's only got a 2% allocation because he bought it last cycle. So he still has like some of that memory, muscle memory in it, which is just... That's what it's just wild. That's what happens, friends. I guess when your incentives are aligned based off like reputation stuff, you start having a portfolio of reputation stuff, which is if I have 50% USD and 50% BTC, which I'm funded by my subs, then I don't need to take any risk. There you go. I literally don't need to take any risk. And that, my friend, that's why you're gonna learn the hard way how cycles really play out. Because what people think is, you sit, you twiddle your thumbs, and all these people come from nowhere, and they come and buy the tops of stuff. No, man, no. It's a string of time. It's like it's a wave of time, yeah. And in that time is humans. It's a marketplace. People are making bets, and then stuff moves, and then people adjust their bets, right? So they sell stuff that's not moving to go buy that stuff, yeah. Then they get cucked on that because that's a short-term thing. Then they sell something else to go do that. And they sell something else to go do that. And what happens is they're trading back and forth and they're losing. They're not making as much. They're not making as much, okay? But then this builds and builds and builds. And then you just have a whole crowd of people. This is how you get to the end of the cycle, okay? So you had an enormous crowd of people who still haven't made money. Maybe they're subscribing to Ben Copen's risk thing. Maybe they're on crypto banter. Maybe they're doing leverage trading. Maybe they're doing Crapto's triangle stuff. Everyone's doing all this stuff, and for just maybe they are making money. People are making money, but when you start seeing the multi-million-dollar P&Ls thrown in your face, they're like, "Oh, I'm not making anything." And you know, they go like, "Oh yeah, I just bought this. I did this leverage on this, or I bought this coin or whatever." And they're like, "Yeah," and everyone gets that FOMO, and that it just builds up. That's what the first word of FOMO, friends. It's fear. Okay, your fear of missing out. Your fear of missing out. Okay, because what ends up happening is all those people, then comes the final jugular point, which is this where you get super dangerous, man. This is why you will thank me at the end. You can tip me with one Ethereum, but you'll thank me at the end that none of you are going to do this. Okay, at the end, let's use a nice example. Let's just use PulseChain. Okay, let's use PulseChain. At the end, friends, let's say PulseChain goes up from here. Let's say from the bottom, it's up whatever 50x. Okay, it's up 50x from the bottom. It's right here, okay? It's up 50x from the bottom. So actually from today, it's about whatever, 23, 25x. So what happens up here is, okay, up here, everyone's sharing screenshots naturally because you're happy. And it permeates through the crypto industry, okay? Because candles are going up. You don't have to yell, friend. You don't have to yell. You don't have to use some amazing marketing plans. You literally don't have to do nothing. I promise you have to do nothing. You literally got to say, hey, guess what? I can afford a Pokeball today. Again, why? Because this thing is up 15x. That's all. You literally need to say nothing else. They go, what? This coin's pumping without me? Straight away, people come in. Everyone comes in, okay? And they're seeing screenshots, and the screenshots are real. And what ends up happening is, right here, friends, what here is, this is where the killer mistake is, okay? People who should have put in their world, okay, not financial advice, just using an example. People who should have put $10,000 here, okay, they should have put $10,000, Yeah. And then they would be up, let's say like 20x. They should have 200K. Okay. So they go, okay, this thing's going to go up another whatever. Like they think it's going to do another like 2 or 3x. Okay. Or 4x. So what they do is they go, man, if I put this, because this is what everyone does naturally. They do this subconsciously. They go, oh, I have 10K. I should have 200 right now. Yeah. I should have $200,000 right now. And if it just does another double, which everyone's like, oh, if it does a quick double, I would have 400. So what they do instead is they go, oh, since in that world where I didn't actually buy 10K worth, I would have 400 just on spot altcoins, right? You can't get liquidated. They find a way to over leverage themselves. They either borrow money on a credit card, take out money on their home mortgage. They basically take savings, take their wife's, whatever. Okay. People just basically, they find a way to get themselves in a hole because they go, you know, they basically play with other people's money, play with other people's very non-family friendly money. And they go, okay, well, you know, in this world, I was going to make 400 grand. So what I'll do is I'll put in 100K now. They'll find 100 grand somewhere. And they're like, oh, you know, if this just goes up like another 4x, I end up with 400 grand anyway. So friend, this is what I noticed people were doing. And it actually blew my mind to see that. So let's say this perfect scenario plays out. They both end up with, let's say the price goes up there. They both end up with $400,000 if the world plays out. One guy though, one gentleman, could be a lady squirrel, but she put in $10,000 of spot and she made 40x. Yeah, spot as in she never got liquidated. That $10,000 went down to like $3,000. She never got liquidated. She just held it, okay? The leverage people come in, but then this is what the phenomenon of the crowd is. Every person, for some reason, thinks of this genius idea to do a gargantuanly large amount of leverage. They all think about it at the same time. And they all over leverage themselves. And then they all price in a perfect world. Right? Where they go, okay, I know you're up, you know, from here, you're up 30x. We just need another 2x to go. You know, now I hope we get it. I really do hope it does do that extra 2x and we get it. But what you actually find is that's your Bitcoin 60K moment from 2021. And then that thing everyone said is definitely coming, that 100K number doesn't actually come. And then you get the big unwind. Okay. So what I found fascinating is people individually, they don't talk like that. They don't say, oh, I would have bought this or would have bought that. But you check the numbers. And I found I checked people in real life and stuff out here. I'm like, interesting. You wouldn't even put in like, you know, or you were going to put in like this $5,000 allocation. Now you're like putting in 30 or whatever. Like that's what I noticed. I'm like, whoa, man. Like this event, they think about it. Like it's literally just like, okay, we saw lows and buy tops. Yeah. But there's more to it than meets the eye. That's how we get to this point. So I want you to think about everyone and their incentives. Yeah. Everyone and their incentives, because everyone's coming from an angle. Everyone's got a bias somewhere, right? I mean, you're biased. Yeah. Okay. You've got your mum and dad in one room, and then you have a stranger in the other room, and the house is burning on fire. Who are you going to save? You can only save one room. What are you going to do? Oh, of course you're going to save mum and dad. Oh, you're genetically biased. You're bag biased to your mum and dad. Do you see when people talk like that? It's just, okay, friends, forget it. Okay, forget it. It's about strategy here. That's what we're trying to do. Okay, strategy. How do we align ourselves to win? Well, what we're doing is, you're already doing it. You're long spot. You've DCA'd a lot. Still holding, okay? Probably bet more than you can afford to lose in some places. I know I have, okay? And that's what we continue to do. It doesn't mean, oh, the world gets better tomorrow. You don't know that. But you're playing for the world to eventually get better. I mean, in case in point as well, US and China to resume tariff negotiations on Sunday. So they're actually doing them right now, right? Donald Trump going out there with President Xi, probably trying to discuss the price of honey and all the taxes out there. So you understand this market cycle, friends. Like, that's why I had to learn this, because I'm like, hey man, I want to know every single step of the way. How do people go from it's over to it's not over, but I'm still not going to put in $500 into this thing? And then fast forward, all right, I've just put in $45,000 because it's going to go another 2x, right? How do we go from that? Because these people aren't stupid. They're doctors. They're nurses. They're intelligent. They're engineers. They build bridges. They burn bridges and then build them again. It's not dum-dums, friends. Okay? And then the smarter they are, the more leverage they get to access. That's what you find out. The smarter they are, they're like, okay, I convinced 13 family members to give me $1.4 million. I put it into this DeFi yield farming protocol because we're all going to get yield and everything's going to be great. That's how the stories end, friend, because they're smart. You can do that, right? People who are aware of their own like intelligence, you see, that's why they say, friends, dumber people, you have a higher chance of like not getting liquidated in the next 10, 20, 30 years because you're like, you know what? I didn't get it. I don't know what's going on. Okay, that's on average because you understand your circle of competence out here, right? But when you get to a Michael Saylor level, right, you're untouchable, right? You're like, oh, I'll tell you why this thing can never mathematically programmed go down. We'll see, man. We'll see, friends. This is the Bitcoin dominance chart. It's way overdue. And see this triangle part? I'm telling you, man, this is like you're asking to lose money if you're just long. You're long Bitcoin ending up here asking to lose money. It was cheap here, dude. It should have gone out here. That's why I don't even begin the it's going down happiness until, bro, you go down here. Okay, now you start. This is all fake. This is all deviation fake. To me, this is all Michael Saylor, $84 billion of leverage, Ethereum going bad, Ethereum going home. I mean, look at this, friends. He literally made a video. The casino is over. He literally did it at the bottom. The casino is over. You know, so incentives. You're understanding the game now. But you got to remember, right? When you're playing the whole cycle, yeah, what's the incentives? Yeah, think about it. When you're playing the whole cycle and new people come in, right, they're going to say, oh, you are incentivized to tell people to take profit. And what they'll say is they go, because you don't want anybody else to get rich. And also, you bought cheaper. So you are bag biased now. You're not thinking straight. You're just looking at your dollar amount. You're not looking at what's coming ahead. They will say that. I saw everybody say that. I saw everybody say those words on Twitter and YouTube and stuff. They said stuff like that. Yeah. Right. And that was literally at the tops. Okay. So I was watching that happen. All right. So now you just know where everyone comes from. And then you realize, oh, wait a minute. Your brain is literally beaming signals to you because you don't want to admit you did not DCA buy lows, even though my friend Sammy made 5,000 plus videos telling you to. Even though the price went down, he got louder. He didn't run away. He got louder. Thank you very much. He tweaked his nipples every single day. Okay. Kept his back straight. Didn't skip leg day. You had every ample opportunity to do it, but you didn't. Now you've got to buy like 8 times your normal clip size at the top. Now you're praying for a 2x. You see that so you got to understand, friend. That's what's going through there because you're going to be reading these news and the stuff that you're going to be like these people's voices are going to be literally in your head. All right. That is, my friends, that's the point. That's like your decision point. You go, okay, what do I do here? Do I fade them? Because it's hard, man. You don't want to leave the party. Who leaves the party at 10:30? We just got there. You know what I mean? That's sometimes what you have to do. Now, fun fact about Ethereum, friends. Ethereum, let's actually go and look at the CME part because this is going to be great. Friends, I'm going to show you some stuff. Do you understand how many people are short Ethereum? I don't think you understand. It's funny. I've been telling you they've been overly short Ethereum from like here, and then it went down and down and down and down. Now it's come back up. See, friends, look at this. 2 days. Look at this. Just 2 days. You're up 40% straight away, bro. This is just starting. Okay. Now it's on this big vertical thing. Might come around, but look, you've got a CME gap at 2,600. All right. And Ethereum is actually at 2,540 right now. So this is the CME gap. It's actually at 2,540. It's right here. All right. And then you have the next gap at 3,200. But all of the shorts are around 3,000. Okay. It's around the average biggest one. CME, record number of shorts, literally record on Ethereum. Can't believe it, bro. Record short as well. Like you can't confirm you're more of a cuck than that. This is the daily chart for Ethereum. 3 straight the green daily candles in a row. Remember, it's so close to that CME gap. But yeah, all their shorts, and you actually see it's kind of funny. It's right here. Look at this. Right here. That's that level. You can just tell, man, like you poke here, they're all finished. You poke 2,800, you're going to start to do that coil thing. All right. So that'd be great. I'm just going to show you, friends. I'm just going to show you. Look what was happening. So we also had some juicy breaking news. Just Richard Hart twerking again. That's actually great. Just check this out, man, from Twitter. Friends, these are large followers. Very large followers, very popular. Okay. This was a month ago. I don't think Ethereum will ever again trade above 2,200 or 2,500, regardless of how high Bitcoin is. Even if Bitcoin is $250,000 in a decade. Here we have Aaron. Thank you very much. Look at this. Take that big fat green candle in your face, sir. They said this with a straight face, man. Remember, don't sit here saying, oh yeah, I always believe. Friends, obviously we on the channel, we don't. But most people were like, yeah, of course, I definitely see that. They're all saying that, man. They're all saying that. That's just what markets do. Friends, it's kind of funny, like, we didn't want to believe it, but I was saying, dude, Blackrock are buying this thing. It's going down only. We make memes about the Bogdanov brothers, rest in peace. About them saying, okay, the weekends again, dump it, accumulate, and then pump it later. Like we made Bizanacci 2017 memes of that. It's literally happening. They did it for Bitcoin in 2022. They accumulated their final big stack, all their private accounts, which we only found out at the end of 2023. People traced these like ETF private accounts that accumulate BTC. They tracked who owns them, private wing of BlackRock. And they checked when they first started buying. They started buying as Janet Yellen was fudding in 2022, when crypto collapsed, when Alex Mashinsky, Duquan, and everything was collapsing. Wild. So friends, remember, a nice way to predict the future is to actually control the future. That's what BlackRock does. They control the future. Oh, we're going to do an ETF listing. We're going to do this. Okay, crypto, we understand how we can control it now. That's the first thing they do. They never talk about that publicly. You know, that's what the real meeting is. The real meeting is, okay, how can we control this thing? Look at this. People who were early to Ethereum and made it their entire personality are making a grave mistake by marrying their bag and being unable to change their view. Ethereum's biggest enemy is its own leadership and ecosystems. Since this is already doing numbers now, if you believe in Ethereum as an investment, please kindly explain why it is 60% minus in the last few weeks. Bitcoin is not. Why is the network usage so down? Why did ETH burn fail so horribly? What is going to turn around? Man, I can't believe. So if you're watching this, I hope you have a perspective of like, man, he's just reads like such a noob. Bro, you've been in markets for years. How are you asking these questions? Why, this, that, why, that, bro? You should know markets, bro. The stories are fugazi. Oh, the prices are cheap. You know markets? Have you looked around? Have you looked around and the people you're trading with? It's extreme volatility. What's going to turn around? They said the same thing about Bitcoin at 15K. They said, how is it going to turn around if the Fed's not going to lower rates? Markets are smarter than you and me, my friends. Markets mega bounced. Ethereum is the worst performer. Why? Because you are ETH poor. Lido doubt. Believe in something. Optimism. Believe in something. So that is why, my friends, you get up only moves like this. You literally just get up only from that. You just don't know when it's going to start. That's why you just have to be. And by the way, these things are really, really, really rare. Let's look at a message from my friend Aaron. Open up your mouth and choke on this thick, fat, juicy green candle. Wow, thank you very much, sir. That's beautiful. Great notes. Also, more cope. Ethereum is destroying people. I told you for months, everyone is long Bitcoin and Solana whilst shorting Ethereum. It's true, friends. Everybody's faded Ethereum. You can see it even on Crypto Banter when he went to token 2049. That Joe guy, he's like, Bitcoin dominance is going to 70%, guys. He said that. Bitcoin dominance. Solana's going to destroy Ethereum. Ethereum is the BlackBerry of the 1990s, guys. Just over and over and over again. I'm like, bro, how are you a trader? Every Tom, Dick, and Harry on all the multi-million subscriber channels are long Bitcoin and soy on leverage with you, bro. How don't you see that? How can a retardio like me, who pegs his own nipples on the internet, wears Pokemon hats, and yes, has the straightest posture in the northern, southern, eastern, and western hemisphere, how can I see that you can't? How? You actually have, this guy, you have to make reports for other people because they're trading other people's money. The biggest allocation they can ever have is 10% into one asset, by the way. You know, it's like, oh, we got a water cooler we got to pay for. We got to do it. Let's type up this report. Oh, man, it's fun. It's fun. We're just getting started, by the way. This is one shitty little green. This is nothing. This is nothing. Wait till they see that when they go down here. Wait till they see when they, friends, mark my words, okay? Mark my words and write them in stone. And then write them on a piece of paper just in case the stone's too heavy to carry around the town, okay? When Bitcoin dominance goes down here, you will literally be seeing on Twitter, there will be that hentai avatar, random, like, you know, like One Piece type of Japanese anime picture guys will come out and say, is anybody a bit concerned that Michael Chad Saylor bought $80 billion of Bitcoin and the Bitcoin dominance is still dropping? They are going to say that. They are going to say that. All right. And then I'm going to be reporting on my Juicy News that day. I'm like, oh, looks like all those institutions are blinking. Trust me, friends, they're going to start talking about Ethereum. They go, oh, maybe we do need yield. Maybe we want to do deflationary burning stuff. Maybe we like real world assets and stable coins as rails in crypto, and Ethereum actually has them and all of them are going to be on there. So what the hell is Bitcoin used for? And that, my friends, is going to see everything collapse on Bitcoin dominance. And look, I'm telling you now, I tell you this, so I tell myself this too. Do not buy the first dip on this piece of shit. Okay? Do not buy the first dip on it. You can buy it if you want, but just be careful, man. I'm just not. No. It's being like, when you have, like, friends, you got to imagine, man, it's literally like, look at this. Breaking! Bitcoin! Bullish! Bullish for Bitcoin! Bearish for altcoins! And then you have the casino is over. Like, I'm telling you now, friends, there's a lot. They're all in. You know they're all in. Name a KOL. Name them. They're long Bitcoin, long soy, short ETH. Name them. Literally name them. We have to unwind them, friends. We have to unwind them to the point where they all renege on it. Now, special secret surprise for everyone. Binance, I think they're trucking with us, friends. Binance, when you zoom into a crypto trader's DNA, so this is it. It's green and red candles in a DNA structure. Thank you to the baby doll who added the PulseX logo. They've been making a lot of hints, man. But look, to be honest, I'll be honest, in my mind, friends, I've already accepted there's a 0% chance PulseChain gets listed anyway. It's in my head. Just because I just want to be mildly happy with anything that appears, right? So I'm totally okay with it never getting listed, okay? That's just how I live. I'd rather that, right? Rather that than like expecting a listing in 6 seconds. But I'm looking at all the stuff happening and I'm like, dude, I'm telling you now, man, you just don't know who's watching me. I'm telling you they all watch me, okay? I'll go, bro, you don't use that word. I use that word. I've seen these things around. I go, oh, you're too embarrassed to tell everybody about me because they're going to find out the coins that are cheapest. And it just so happens in this cycle, it's all the contrarian tokens. It's Richard Hart stuff. Right? You're too scared to tell everybody, which all that means, friends, it doesn't mean I'm wrong. Okay? It's not about that. It just means the price isn't high enough for them to feel it's socially acceptable to talk about it. That's just all it means. Okay? Which is good for you and me. Imagine they were talking about it. That means the price is pretty high. And we know it's not. Binance and PulseX will be a great listing. PulseX is a buy and burn, pure deflation. So this is a message. Coinbase, Kraken, Binance. I'm just telling you, man. You have to list PulseChain and PulseX for your customers. Of course, and list the rest of my bag. List Hex and Ink. But just list, if you list PulseChain, just telling you something, okay? You will literally have 250,000 rabid dogs, cultists, telling everybody about the gains after your listing. Do you know that? Do you know that? Like, I'm just telling you, Binance, CZ, Richard Peng. Richard Peng, if you're listening, Richard, we have our own Richard as well. Dickie Peng. Okay, bro, if you literally list right here, we literally mark your chart forever. You literally just have an up-only chart. It's like just asking for you. And guess what? You get free advertising for literally the whole world. You literally get to promote it. Hey, we listed this and it's up this. because the exchanges, friends, they don't even do proper marketing for themselves. That's what they should be doing. They get a listing, they go to only the winners, and they might say like, oh wow, since our listing, you know, PulseChain PLS is up 1,000%. Early investors who bought on the listing got up a 10x and just watched the whole crypto industry seize with cope. You know, that's what you want. They're like, oh wow, so these things are cool and stuff. You know, that's what you want. But you know, why don't they do it? You know why, man? Just, you know, controversy, the twerking, a bit of Eric Wall here, waiting for Eric to put on a Pikachu hat and follow me. Hey friends, this is pretty much it. Eric Wall's PulseChain bet. This is what's going to happen. Here we have Mr. Dirky Turkey. See right here. Eric loves the core meme of PulseChain with a side of Tang. See? I've seen all these other stuff, dude. They're not cool. They're not cool. They're not cool. You forget about them. Starkware, everything else, dog shit logos, no volume, no spirit, no soul. They don't have a symbiotic connection with all the tokens. They don't have a native decentralized stablecoin that can pump. They don't have anything. They literally have nothing. And if they have amazing technology that they're going to copy paste from another chain, we'll take it too. There you go. Welcome to crypto. Like, subscribe, belly button, or catch you soon.